Okay, so hello, uranium friends. Some consolidation is underway in the space. Everybody's flipping out. Let's put emotions aside. Let's take a look at charts. Okay, so we're going to do some Fibonacci work for sure today. So let's check it out. Quarterly chart right now. Again, I've spoken about this. Listen, if I'm looking at this chart for the first time in my life, I'm going, what a bullish chart, right? Regardless of all of this, you've got a great cup and handle forming here on the quarterly chart, and there's very little consolidation going on right now. So of course I'm going to say, all right, well, great chart, very bullish, and really, I mean, this chart this chart has been bullish since. All right, let's just say, to be conservative, let's just say since July 2021. This chart has been bullish. All right, so it's a great cup and handle formation here. Here's your Fibonacci run from the pandemic low to this high in November, probably October 2021. That's it, and we're looking at these retracement sizes. So the retracement size is, there's no red flag here. Yeah, 38% retracement, bounced off of it, built a base, great shape, above all the moving averages. It's a good backdrop for us, though, right? So what am I trying to do right now? Well, I'm trying to figure out levels where I want to be entering into URA. We know that we're beginning a consolidation. I want to try to gauge the depth of it and whatnot, and that's how I'm going to use my multiple time frame analysis as I zoom in. So cup and handle on the quarterly, some levels here, built a nice base right at $17. So I mean, if I'm just using this chart alone, for example, $18 breaks down, and then I start to worry. Before that, I'm not really even concerned. So just keep that in the back of our minds as we go through this. But a good level for me on this chart, if I was just using it again, is like the 22 to 24 area, as we see in the volume profile here. Where it starts to get support, and the true volume profile base support is right around $20. Let's zoom into the monthly here. Let's see if we get a little bit of a better look. Yeah, so again, this base of support is there. We've had this whole consolidation. We've had this decent move. There's nothing overly special about the drawdown right now. At the moment, the pullback, it's absolutely nothing. It's a monthly inside bar to start the week of October after months of just up. So nothing to glean here. Again, you're going to have this little volume profile air pocket here that could be problematic. As maybe a drop down into the support here. So I'm starting to build in my mind levels, right? So if I look at the volume profile, I'm going to start to see some support here in the 2450 range, 2440, 24. When I start to move over here, I've noticed that it's been a 5 EMA rider on this monthly chart, right? So this yellow line has supported this move, and it just happens to be right along with that is my 50-day moving average with it as well. So it's been riding this double moving average of the 5 EMA and the 50-day moving average. So, this is where, I would start to assume that there could be some deeper consolidation if it takes out these two moving averages, right? There's still no red flag on this name until it gets through this monthly 12 EMA. Now, this is a rising 12 EMA, so it's going to probably move up a little bit. As this moves down, it'll start to flatten out. So maybe we start to see that end up in the 23 range. So we're starting to build a picture with multiple time frames, right? We have these double this moving average support at 2450. We've had that 3-month volume support on the quarterly at 2450. We're zooming into the monthly. We start to see that the levels are the same. Things change. Now you have the rising 12 EMA coming into play, so that's around 23. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so now I see again. It's been riding this EMA. If it comes down to a healthy spot at the 12 EMA, it's at 24 again. So these numbers are starting to pop up. They start to recur as time goes on, right? So that starts to give me at least a picture of where I might want to be really starting to look harder and maybe look for a bounce, for example, right? So as I zoom in, I'm starting to put the picture together. Again, these moving averages, they're down at like 23, 24, right? You get down to where the volume shelf starts to pick up, if we can put more data in with the volume, we're starting to see this spot where you have a little air pocket here, and then we start to run into support again around the $24 range into the daily. So this is what prompts this new way to look at things is with the daily. So we have some interesting things going on here, right? So again, EMA rider, 12 EMA rider for the most part, it's been that way. When it loses it, it's a pretty shallow, and it bounced off this double 50 EMA and 50-day moving average here. All right, so but it's spread out from there. So what's going on now? Well, we lost the daily 12 EMA. We have a really, in my opinion, a double head and shoulders pattern that's kind of forming. So at this very top, you can see that I've drawn it out. I posted that in Twitter. But you also have this, which could easily be interpreted as another head and shoulders on this daily chart. That will probably come into formation. If you see it come into formation that way, we may see it on the weekly here, right? So that's the left shoulder of the weekly right here. And we may see that test that up again. Maybe it bounces up to there and ends up acting as resistance to form the right shoulder on the weekly. So you can see it more defined here. And I bet you if we go to the 2-day, let's see what happens on the 2-day here. Yeah, so even more defined, right? So this is just quite the drawdown, the 2-day drawdown we've had into this 12 EMA on the 2-day chart. You get some more clarity here, right? So we could easily see how there's a possibility of this other head and shoulders possibly forming. So, for me now, a bounce level, a resistance level for me is really it's 27.24. What is that? 27.27. So around $27. If there's a bounce, it's going to have me looking that way on that what I call daily double head and shoulders, but it's definitely seeable on that 2-day time frame. So that's where I'm starting to develop my thought process on level. So now it's just taken another step with this with these Fibonacci's. Okay, so we'll go back to the monthly now. All right, the monthly is a little tougher only because we have this big base here. So I'm just going to bring this up. Let me put my magnet on, makes life a lot easier. I'm going to bring this up to these levels here, and we'll zoom into the weekly, okay? So, fib poles, they can be a bit, people could use their judgment on this as well, as far as moving the fibs. But if you take it from this very bottom of this run into the top of this here, you start to see levels again, the 22 and the 24 level, where these Fibonacci levels also become pertinent with the volume profile. Now, I prefer personally, truly short term, I want to use the last swing pivot, which is here. This was the last weekly swing pivot. Some will contend that this was, but I'm viewing this all as one move, believe it or not. I don't know if, some people may agree, some people may disagree, but for the purposes of this now. So again, now I'm looking at new levels again, right? So 38% retracement doesn't even get you down to the weekly 12 EMA. But you get to this 50% retracement of this move, and where are we? 24. You get to the golden pocket where there's a lot of confluence of moving averages, where the volume shelf is starting to show where there might be some buying demand at the golden pocket, which is at 23, 22, 23 to 24. Now, I've developed in my mind, just by going over this, where I think I want to be interested in maybe adding or starting a position in URA. I found those spots. I've used multiple time frame analysis to lock in kind of at some levels, and they're all starting to line up. So this $22 to $24 range for me is a target for URA ads. Let's just see how does a head and shoulders. The head and shoulders pattern is you want to take a measured move off of the neckline, which is what, 25.71 to the top here, which is 28.42. So for all intents and purposes, let's just say it's $3 for easy math. So from 25.70, $3, 22.70, right? So that's kind of all lining up in the same area for the measured move on this daily head and shoulders here. It's really going to be working off of this, right? So here's your neckline. So you take the $3 off of there, and we're again in this zone, this $22 to $24 zone. You also have some a little bounce here that's occurred, right? It acted as support back in August, acted as resistance prior to that. So important level, right? $22 to $24 is my range now after looking at all of these technical factors as to where I would like to be interested in adding or buying. I mean, that's how multiple frame technical analysis works. ETFs like URA are great to do it with. There's a ton of volume. Um, that's kind of where I'm looking at the moment. I'm probably going to take the same approach with most of the big board names, with NXE and with CCJ and whatnot. But for all intents and purposes, at the moment, I am watching this. Really, the clarity comes on this 2-day chart, and it's interestingly enough, in the uranium sector, since I've been covering it for the past couple of years, 2-day time frames for some reason offer a lot of clarity for us. It kind of takes away some of the noise and the wickiness and the volatility. So we've got that potential 2-day head and shoulders forming as well. So, bounce from here is going to have me looking real hard at the 27 area to see if there's rejection. And if there isn't, that's a pretty good sign. 2-day 12 EMA also was a bounce there. So, that's kind of the way I'm looking at URA right now. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not really making any predictions of any sort. I am looking to add, I am a bull on the entire space. And this chart, this 3-month, this quarterly chart tells me I'm correct in being a bull for now. Over and out.